Good evening. There we go. Good evening. Welcome to Baccalaureate. Please join me standing to welcome our class of 2023. Welcome to Baccalaureate. While this tradition may have changed a little bit since the original baccalaureate service at Oxford University in 1432, we are still embracing its timeless purpose, gathering together one last time, surrounded by those closest to you to reflect on your accomplishments. I have the pleasure of starting the reflections, so I'm going to take you back to earlier this week. Because you're seniors, and because most of you bask in your senior privileges of rolling in just before or just after your first class, you missed much of the misadventure on Monday morning. I got to school at 7:50, parked my car, and walked my usual path to the front of the school, only to pause at the unexpected. Mr. Pugsley was standing in front of the upper school, barefoot, setting up a blockade of furniture and stringing yellow caution tape across the entrance. I said. The hot water heater died, he said, and there's water all over the first floor entrance. Senior prank, I thought to myself. But glancing through the upper school doors, I saw no, it wasn't a prank. At least I hoped it wasn't. I would have to take a detour. For my first detour, I entered the side of the upper school, walking into the history hallway, only to observe more yellow caution tape, squelchy carpet, and another homemade blockade of tables, chairs, and a random sandwich board. Yep, a second detour was in order, if I were to get to the upper school office. So I retraced my steps and found my way through the quad side door. Another view of the waiting pool, but this time I could slip into the side door and slide into my office without taking off my shoes. All right. Over the past 2 decades, I've walked this pathway thousands of times with only the occasional sidestep, which means that I've taken the pathway for granted, not even really paying that much attention to it, thinking about other things. With your indulgence, I'm going to stretch this memory into a metaphor, one that represents the past 4 years. Specifically, your pathway through high school as you and everyone else suddenly dealt with the unexpected upheaval. Remember when you were getting used to the normal patterns of school in 9th grade, and then suddenly there was this really big lake in front of you, and the patterns were disrupted? For a year and a half, all of us, you, your parents, your teachers, your administrators, longed for those normal pathways for a time before masks and Zoom and distancing and cohorts and gallons of hand sanitizer. You've been able to return to some semblance of normal, finding those pathways again. First through awkward detours, cohorts, and then through cautious tiptoeing through the once familiar patterns. In the last year, schools have become the expected, and we no longer worry as much about random coughs, about sitting beside friends, about administrators barking at you to stay separated in the lunch line. You lost quite a bit in those 4 years, but here's what you gained, a lesson that previous CA graduates may not have fully grasped. Your plans are not guaranteed to come to fruition. No matter how much you organize and look ahead and consider all the possibilities, the metaphorical hot water heaters will burst, and you will need to find another way around. And that's okay. Your class has learned that you can adapt to shifting circumstances at a moment's notice. You've navigated around the unexpected ponds, finding your way to where you need to be. And along the way, you honed your humor, your empathy, and your understanding. Those qualities have helped you and your classmates and your teachers and your parents through the past 4 years. So we will take these next 45 minutes or so to celebrate your individual accomplishments, the lessons that you learned in your classes, in clubs, in sports, and extracurricular activities. But for me, as I reflect on your class, the class of 2023, I'm struck by your collective accomplishment, by your panache as you navigated the unexpected. Thank you, class of 2023, for illustrating to your peers and your teachers and your administrators how to use humor, empathy, and understanding to navigate the vicissitudes of life. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Ms. Lori Torreson.
I have tissues because there are bets going on that I will cry. Good evening, families, friends, faculty, and the Cary Academy graduating class of 2023. What a tremendous privilege and honor it is to speak to you tonight. The purpose of this speech is to inspire you as you approach the end of your journey here at Cary Academy. I want to inspire you by showing you how much you have inspired me throughout this time here. Each and every one of you is important and cherished by us at Cary Academy. In 2019, I left the public school system where I had an established reputation and wonderful connections with my students to become a teacher here at Cary Academy, where the students knew absolutely nothing about me. I was a newbie. I was a freshman like you guys. I essentially began my teaching career from scratch again. Here's what stands out to me about freshman year. We began the year bonding and getting to know each other better at Camp Skelton. We were disqualified from Halloween Hall that year because we taped decorations to the lockers. Robbery! I went to my first Friday Night Lights and watched you all play with a determination unequaled for freshmen. I chaperoned your first upper school winter dance in the Burger Hall basement. Jeez, was it hot and sweaty down there. After our spring break, we had to leave campus and school as we had always known it due to COVID. We began remote learning. Something that everyone knows about me, I thrive on interpersonal connections with people. It was indescribably tough to teach and learn virtually and not see each other in person. But we endured, maybe because we could wear our pajama pants without anyone knowing. How did I personally get through such a tough year? Through you guys. I connected with students in my novice Spanish class who were also new to Cary Academy. We all started Cary Academy as newbies together in that class, and you all made me feel like I wasn't alone at a school where so many had been together for years and had formed very established relationships with each other. What an amazing class. Thank you to those who have continued to visit me weekly, even though I haven't taught you since freshman year. I think my homemade treats were the motivating factor. Your visits always made me smile. My precious intermediate mid-classes, what a joy it was to teach you then, and many of you a second time in the last couple years in my studies and semester elective courses. As world language teachers, there's nothing more thrilling than watching our students' Spanish improve and reach fluency level over time. It's everything to us. Kudos to you. COVID definitely put a damper on our freshman year. COVID forced us to confront isolation, change, and discomfort head on. Overcoming such challenges resulted in a stronger appreciation for what we consider normalcy, and I believe brought us closer together as a class. And how lucky were we to have such awesome and strong class leaders these last 4 years to help us rebuild our sense of community. Fairly quickly into sophomore year, we returned to campus with masks on, albeit in cohorts. My favorite memories were winning Halloween Hall, revenge from our freshman disqualification, and doing tons of Flex Day activities with you all. It was Flex Day back then. Going kayaking, going to the Carolina Tiger Rescue. We did a lot outside that year. Junior year, we finally returned to in-class learning. After a year of having extra space between our desks and tables, standing 6 feet apart in the dining hall, getting pre-packaged lunches, that comfortable sense of normalcy at Cary Academy that we miss so much, it finally returned. I love seeing you all work magic in your leadership committees, dancing at Glow Stick and Prom, having fun at the Spirit Week and Wacky Olympics, and watching you begin the next step towards being seniors, writing your resumes for college and doing those practice interviews. Senior year, what a year it's been. My key memories, decorating cars before the school year started, then the Myrtle Beach trip. You all had the best time, watching you play football on the beach, riding on floats in the Pools River, escorting groups to get ice cream, having a blast at the amusement park and aquarium, eating pizza and dancing till you were exhausted. What an awesome time we all had. I remember all of the college application advisory meetings, writing college recommendations for several of you, the yummy senior luncheon, thank you parents, Spirit Week, man, the senior class brought the spirit, Wacky Olympics, and the struggles with the rubber chickens, the fall senior ski trip, where some of you got to watch me fall on my butt on the bunny slope as others raced down the mountain at full speed. I think I even saw the Grinch ski by me. The glow stick dance, the year was going by too quickly. Isaiah's incredibly impactful presentation on the evolution of black hair, with help from his precious grandma. Sammy's organization of the Holocaust presentation. I beamed with pride. Then the prom came. What a wonderful night, but a tough one nonetheless for emotional me. The spoon games, graduation, my last occasions with this sensational senior class. My last occasions with my precious advisees, whom everyone knows I adore. You are sunshine on a rainy day. It has been the greatest joy of my time here at CA, watching you mature and evolve into the fabulous young men and women you are today. I will always be here for you, always. Okay, I didn't make it. Our 4 years together at CA have been filled with happy, joyous times. However, I would be remiss not to mention the struggles that a handful of our seniors have had to balance during their time here at CA. I am in awe of you. The courage you have shown to overcome unimaginable challenges beyond belief for anybody, much less anyone your age. Here come the somewhat cliche, but ever so important final comments. Your journey at CA may be ending, but a new and exciting journey awaits you. Here is my advice, based on what I have learned over the many, many years of my life. You are about to begin your university career in cities all over the world. You've built lifelong friendships here at CA. Nurture them, hold on to them. There is nothing in life more precious than your family and friends. Always be kind. Kindness is contagious. And be brave. Live your authentic life, not one others expect of you. Embrace your failures. Yes, failures. As you dive into your future, you will inevitably have many successes, as you have here at Cary Academy, but you will also have setbacks, losses, and failures. Successes and happy times are lovely, but what I have learned is that the setbacks and failures and how I managed to get back up on my feet have helped me to become a better version of myself. Take special care of your mental health. Reach out when you need a hand. Lend a helping hand to those who may need your help. Everyone struggles at times. You're not alone. The accolades that you all have recently bestowed upon me are mere reflections of the love and admiration that I have for you all, class of 2023. Please don't forget all of the teachers and leaders here at CA who have been part of your time here. Stay in touch and visit often. CA will always be your home. As the acclaimed Colombian author, Gabriel García Márquez said, "Lo que importa en la vida no es lo que te pasa, sino lo que recuerdas y cómo lo recuerdas." What matters most in life is not what happens to you, but what you remember and how you remember it. You, CA Class of 23, will be remembered forever. Congratulations and best wishes to all of you. I am really happy at this time to introduce your class president, Amy Snively.
Hi, everybody. Okay, families, faculty, seniors, it is such a pleasure to see all of you here this evening. My name is Amy Snively, and I've had the distinct honor to serve as the senior class president this year. Don't worry, seniors, the year really is over, and I'm not here to get you to sign up for anything or submit anything. I promise you can just sit back and relax. Other than hounding the seniors, my job as president this year has meant a number of things. For one, I get to work with our fantastic PTAA GLCs to put on events, but most of all, it means with the help of a little team that I run the seniors' Instagram account. My Photoshop, thank you Cary Academy for providing that, has produced a multitude of graphics and edits and posts throughout this year, some of which you might have even seen pop up here and there. As I began to reflect, I decided to do a little bit of a deep dive through this account, and while it doesn't go all the way back to 6th grade, here's what I imagine would have been there in 2016. For most of us, the very beginning of our time at Cary Academy began in August of 2016 in the building just across from here, the middle school. It's actually there. Here we were standing before the giant awaiting columns, getting out from the carpool, all decked out with shirts tucked in all the way around into Bermuda shorts. We conquered brand new computers, citizen science projects, and Charger Trails activities. Then we moved on up to the upstairs, taking on ancient empires and swindling little siblings at Y1K. Finally starting school sports, some that got quickly dropped after middle school, and some that followed us all the way up until our senior nights. Armed with an unwarranted sense of confidence, we entered 8th grade and were finally the big kids in the middle school, the top dogs, if you will. But then it was time to not just move up a floor, but move across campus. We took our backpacks off their hooks, put them squarely on our backs, and headed over to the big city. All of a sudden, we were high schoolers attempting to dodge upperclassmen and trying to decipher what the blank spots on our schedules were. Were they really free periods? And then I would be remiss if I did not mention that COVID hit our grade, I know you're tired of it, right before the 3rd trimester. Spring break stretched out, and we weren't quite in a big city, but instead little islands spread around the triangle. But we, the class of 23, took it in stride, adapting to the changes with a natural finesse and flexibility. Coming back as sophomores, we were divided, akin to the Monahues and Capulets, Jets and Sharks, Yankees and Red Sox. We were the blue and gold cohorts in a brand new phenomenon called hybrid school. We forgot that the other half of our grade existed, and also forgot the bottom half of everyone's face. But, okay, did not think that was, but to no one's surprise, we tackled it nonetheless, with our ability to roll with the punches, our enduring adaptability utilized to withstand whatever entered our path. And then we were upperclassmen, a new label that changed everything. We were juniors with licenses with eyes peeking out at our futures. All of a sudden, we were full grade again. We weren't hanging out on Zoom calls during fire drills, wondering if they were ever coming back or if the building had been engulfed in flames. Instead, when that shrill bell erupted, which never ceases to startle even when you know it's coming, we were lining up on the quad, marveling at just how many people were really in our grade, and that they looked so different now too. Fueled by the desire to get back to normal, our traditional Cary Academy events and traditions began to reappear in our quotidian lives. We were a real class again, coming back together as a community and meeting each other. Not for the first time, well, a couple for the first time, but meeting each other once again. We were no longer just some arbitrary color, but we were the class of 23 once again. Older, more mature, and more sophisticated, but the class of 23. We took that ability to roll with anything honed from those years spent switching between home and school along with us as we leapt over advanced classes, ran through discovery terms and work experiences, and juggled all those alphabet soup schedules. Then, when senior year, the headliner year, came rolling around, we really began to form the community of our grade, building upon the foundation from all the way back with the Bermuda shorts and the entrepreneurial spirit of Y1K and the top dog status of 8th grade, but also on our natural willingness to accept each other and be authentically ourselves as individuals, but also as a grade that we've come to know so well. Okay, so now I can really lean on the seniors account to offer some deep dive material for this year. So we started the year painting a colorful rock and designing a variety of other colorful senior t-shirts. We started our senior sports seasons and played spike ball and guitar on the quad. We began to open up those college applications and push off that Common App essay. We tackled our first semester classes along with juniors in our Friday night lights game. We constructed a giant Halloween float complete with an Oscar-worthy cackling witch. We took home our third consecutive Wacky Olympics victory and participated in an enigmatic scavenger hunt. We continued playing our senior seasons throughout the winter and had our senior lunches together. We played winter games and spring games and dominated in both, thanks to chess prodigies and Super Smash maestros. We cheerfully waved goodbye to EP tests and classwork, fighting back hard against the encroaching grasp of senioritis. We finally captured the elusive Spirit Cup trophy through some real dedication and determination and teamwork, solidifying our status as seniors. We played our final playoff games and signed our final yearbooks and started to feel the sentimentality that comes with trading in firsts for finals. And now we've only just met each other and it's time to say goodbye again. Not just to half a face, but to everybody in our community, saying goodbye to all the things we learned about each other, but packing up and bringing with us all the things we learned about ourselves. I have full faith that we, the class of 2023, will continue to roll with the punches, adapting and taking each and every challenge in stride because, after all, that's what we've been doing each and every year. Thank you so much, seniors, not just for signing up and submitting, although I really appreciate that, but for all the moments we've shared throughout all these years. And good luck on that next big adventure in the next big city. And hey, if you want to go ahead and tag at CA Seniors 23, it'll be right where you left it. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Joshua Baird to give the toast to the parents and faculty.
What did the pony say when it went to go see the doctor? I'm a little hoarse. As my good friend Amy said, I'm Joshua Baird, and I'm very pleased to be I'm very pleased to be speaking with you all today. Unfortunately, my voice is not in a great condition, and if I feel I'm unable to give the speech that I think all y'all deserve, my good friend Nikhil is going to step in. Salutations, esteemed staff, faculty, and parents. Always wanted to say something like that. How we doing, everybody? First of all, I'd like to say how grateful and privileged I am to be speaking to you all today, especially about something that I think is so important. So, graduation. Pretty impressive if I do say so myself. In this time of excitement for the future, it's important to take a little bit of time for reflection. It's been a long road, one full of successes and failures, joys and disappointments, wonderful achievements, and sometimes unfortunate mistakes. I can speak for myself in that I've been impatiently awaiting graduation for some time now. I, like many others, have been inflicted with a debilitating case of senioritis. It can be hard to focus on a quiz when you already know where you're going next year. Even further back, this graduation that we're so close to has always been a distinct goal. As a freshman, the caps and gowns always impressed me, symbols of excellence and hard work on the part of our students. It's easy to view a graduating senior as a single entity, one alone in their efforts and their successes. But we all know this is not the case. Accompanying us in the good times and steering us through the bad have been our extraordinary parents and Cary Academy faculty and staff. None of us could be where we are without you all supporting us at every turn. Parents, y'all have been guiding us since the very beginning and have made countless sacrifices, both seen and unseen. You've provided us with foundational knowledge that we need to succeed and the opportunities to gain more knowledge. You've celebrated us in our victories and consoled us in our defeats. Whether obvious or not, you've influenced each of us in deep ways, and your actions have made you steadfast examples, showing us the importance of perseverance and hard work. Your love, patience, and sacrifices are not lost on a single one of us, and I stand here as a representative to give a loud and definite thank you. Faculty, teachers, administrators, and CA staff of all sorts, you've helped make us the people we are today. You've instilled a love of learning and a commitment to academic achievement. You've created a learning environment of respect, growth, and most importantly, curiosity. You've challenged us in our ideas and led us in exploring our passions. You've nurtured our academic growth, allowing us to learn more about ourselves and the world around us. You've been mentors and even friends to us throughout our time here, and for that, we're eternally grateful. As we enter our adult lives, we strive to carry on the valuable lessons and values that you've brought to us. I can only hope that we live up to your wonderful examples. We stand here on the precipice of adulthood, our younger years behind us and a world of adventure and opportunity before us. It's time to move forward, also to show our gratefulness for those that brought us here. Parents and Cary Academy faculty and staff, none of us would be where we are without your care, guidance, and love. Your impacts on us will never fade, and we'll forever cherish our time with you. Now, students, the work is done, and it's time to celebrate. But as we walk across the stage for our diplomas, don't forget the lessons that led us here, nor the hardworking parents and Cary Academy family that bestowed them. Again, thank you for your time, and congratulations, class of 2023. Yay. Now I'd like to announce everyone's favorite middle school teacher, Mr. Snively.
I'm sorry, I don't have an understudy. I'm going to have to get through it myself. Before I get going, 2 quick notes. One, thank you for letting me go last, so I'm not open to rebuttal by any of the other speakers. I appreciate that. And 2, while I guess officially I'm here in the guise of a parent, given the toast to the class of 2023. 2023. Some of you may recall I'm actually sort of a teacher also. So this is likely to end up being sort of a hybrid speech, not like one of those cool Volvo hybrid rechargeable things, but more like one of those old mopeds that's sort of half motor scooter and half impractical bicycle. Anyway, here I go. I'll do my best. Welcome to the 8th annual CA 5K Fun Run. The wrong notes. Sorry. Hey, it's time again for Friday Night Lights. Wrong again. Out of curiosity, how'd Friday Night Lights go for y'all? Go all right? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to reach to one of my more formal pockets now, because it's a more formal speech. Here we go. It is my great honor to be here today, in front of you all, in the Burger Hall Auditorium, to read the names of those students as they get their certificates at 8th grade graduation. Sorry, it's still the wrong thing. I got one pocket left. Baccalaureate address, 2023. See, this is, yeah, thank you. Whew. That could have been really embarrassing. See, you should always title your work. If there's no other takeaway you take away from tonight, that could be it. A good title can really help you out, as Prince Charles said. Sorry, King Charles. Now I begin. I always knew that I would end up at Cary Academy, since my goofball dad taught there. I grabbed the wrong papers this morning. Oh, Lord. This is really embarrassing. And my one directive tonight, the one thing that an unnamed person told me, was that I should not embarrass her. And I'm so sorry. That's what I heard. I'm just gonna, I got my computer. I'm so sorry. Oh, let's just do it this way because I can find it here. Oh, look. Okay, we got all this, and they told me that, just in case, I can hook this thing up. I always love technology, so this is going to go well. Here we go. This one goes there. This one goes there. And in theory, and I hope this isn't embarrassing. Oh, please, please, please. Okay, now they showed me this little button up here, and I push this little button, and it says, oh, it isn't working. But, okay, well, there could be a picture. Well, let me try this. And again, I don't want to embarrass anybody. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm putting the password, and you can't see it, but trust me, I'm putting a password in right now. Okay. Now, I need to stress that is actually no one I know, okay? It's just a random baby picture that I found on the internet. And it was chosen as a universal representation of the type. So let's analyze that type. Call up a PowerPoint, and it should be, oh, it's not there. It's here. Oh, start the slideshow. I'm going to start the slideshow. Hit from beginning. Got dark. Still dark. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to analyze that type and think about how they got from where y'all were to where y'all are now, okay? And to do this, to keep it universal and to not embarrass anyone, let's name our representative types Aloysius and Brunhilde. Two names that, in my opinion, are primed to make a comeback onto the list of the top baby names for 2023. But for now, they're probably generically safe to use and not embarrass anyone. You okay with this? Okay. And not embarrass anyone as we consider the journey from infancy to graduation in which we've all taken part. Way back when, likely about 18 years ago, little Aloysius and baby Brunhilde were swaddled in blankets, wrapped up so tight because they felt better, felt calmer when they couldn't move. It was comforting for them, and for us too as parents. I mean, we knew where they'd be if we left them somewhere. They're not going anywhere, okay? The good old days before having to consult Life 360 all the time, you know? Of course, as parents, we were eager to see them move about. What were they going to do? When would they take their first steps? Should they already have taken their first steps? Shouldn't they be, frolicking about already? We smiled when their first word was mama or dada. It only got more worrisome when their first sentence seemed to be, what's the password for our Amazon account? Aloysius was soon playing the violin or the piano or dancing or drawing. Brunhilde started kicking or batting or dribbling a ball that was this big or sort of that. We really probably should have been paying a little more attention. And isn't that a constant refrain, parents? I wish I'd been paying just a little more attention. Time flew by. Years passed in minutes, although they often seemed a lot longer as they were actually happening. Soon, Aloysius and Brunhilde and 50 or so more all came bopping into Cary Academy. And there's the life of technology. Whoop, we got ahead. We went back. There we go. We bopped into Cary Academy via a couple of other routes. Aloysius and Brunhilde, they tried to fit in. They tried to succeed. Often they did. Sometimes they didn't. Brunhilde joined robotics and won a ribbon. Aloysius tried out for basketball, didn't make it, but then he got a speaking part in a musical. We watched their successes and their struggles, their remounting of the horses that had thrown them, and the joyous moments when they leapt forward. Now, we wanted to keep an eye on them at every moment, to step in when they needed us. But more and more it became clear that it could be better for them not to need us, as tough as that sometimes was. We were no longer the conductors of their symphonies. We used to orchestrate their playgroups, balancing this melody with that rhythm to create harmonious concertos. At least that's how we remembered it. Now, they were making their own friends, forming their own bands, and we had to wonder and worry about the punk rockers with whom they were associating. I mean, Gertrude seemed nice, but Ebenezer, he's kind of a little Dickens. And exactly who is that Gamaliel anyway? Oh gosh, is he the one with the convertible? Ugh. We had to trust them, and we had to let them get along on their own, because they needed and wanted to be getting along on their own. Our presence could be embarrassing. I've been told, many times, it's how they are when they're not around you. That's what shows how well you've done as a parent, and I sure hope so. You hear from another adult, oh, Aloysius is such a sweet, polite boy. And all you can remember is his most recent diatribe against the unfairness and cruelty of the broccoli-eating regime that you have established for him. Over the years, they've developed their own personalities. Sometimes it seems too much personality. They appear to be running around everywhere, going wild, and you just want to pull out those swaddling blankets. No, you don't. You want to pull out the swaddling blankets. There they are, the swaddling blankets, and say, hey, Brunhilde, remember how nice those were? Do you remember how much you liked them? But Brunhilde and Aloysius have become their own people, and they're thinking on their own. They're formulating their own opinions. They're making their own choices. They're arguing and debating with us using well-reasoned logic, strong supporting details, and heavy, heavy doses of verbal irony, leading us to ask, wait, I paid for this? And as a teacher, I say, yes, you're welcome. And thank you for sharing them with us, for letting them unswaddle to become who they are. Which leads us to the next question. Who are these soon-to-be graduates going to become? What do you want to be when you grow up? Now, me, personally, I'm still trying to figure that one out for myself. I continue to regularly check the Help Wanted section in Rolling Stone to see if the E Street Band needs a replacement for a retiring Bruce Springsteen. Could happen. There are two ways to view this dream of mine. One, someday, there's going to be a lot of disappointed fans. Or two, I may be suffering from a slightly oversized sense of youthful optimism and exuberance. Now, youthful optimism and exuberance are words not commonly associated with me anymore, but they are words that hopefully do apply to those here tonight who are not the same type of senior as I am. So, what will you be when you grow up? Now, some of you absolutely know that you will be a doctor or a lawyer, and that's cool. Some of you absolutely know that you won't be a doctor or a lawyer, and that's cool. Some of you absolutely know that you will be a doctor or you won't be a lawyer, and surprise, you're going to find out that you're mistaken, hopefully by your own choice, and even that's cool. As you head off down the path through the big wide world of college and real life, make sure to notice what you're passing. Turn the page. As you're walking down the hallway of your life, you're going to see some open doors and windows. Peek into those open doors and windows as you go by. Now, this is a metaphor. Be careful about really doing that. It can get you in trouble with campus security. But, metaphorically, keep looking into those open doors and windows. Don't just look straight ahead. Look all around you as you move along. Go ahead, if there's an open door with something in it that interests you, pop in and check out the room. Maybe you'll just look around and pop back out. Or maybe there's another door in that room to investigate, and another interior door beyond that, which takes you somewhere else. Embrace the labyrinth. It can be a maze. It can be amazing. Go ahead. Drop those mental breadcrumbs so you can find your way back if you want. But you may find yourself happily in another room, in another building, in another town than what you were expecting. You may find out that you pop out in the same hallway where you began, just a little farther along, having found something cool along the way, having encountered something wonderful, having discovered the greatest thing since sliced bread. The greatest thing since sliced bread. Anybody ever heard that expression? Okay, well, thank heavens, that saves us a couple pages here. Okay, if the gluten-free among us will humor me for a moment, here's an open door that we're going to step through right now, okay? The greatest thing since sliced bread. Folks used to say that all the time. That was the standard by which things were judged. You know, it's okay that moon landing, but it's not sliced bread, okay? Or this World Wide Web thing, it could prove useful, but it sure isn't sliced bread, okay? You might not think that sliced bread was such a big deal, but apparently it was. So let's dig in on this phenomenon. There was a time before sliced bread. If you go back in history, something I often do, there was a time when people didn't even have bread. There was a whole revolution because of a flippant, hey, there's no bread, well, let him eat cake remark. People were sad. They had nothing. They were poor. They needed dough. And then someone actually needed dough. And voila, bread. And there was much rejoicing. People were happy with this new thing they'd created. It was huge. One small step for bakers, one giant leap for mankind. But, as will happen, people got used to it. They got complacent. You might even say, stale. The joy was gone. Sure, they had bread, but they were just loafing around. And then the day came, the discovery, the innovation. Two men in collaboration, one with a baguette, one with a knife. And in a blinding flash of excellence, there it was, the greatest thing, sliced bread. People were thrilled. It was progress. They had advanced, taken a step forward. They had moved into a new existence. Simple idea. What can you do with sliced bread, I hear you asking? That was you, right? Were you the one that asked? Okay, I heard somebody. Okay, this simple little piece of sliced bread, what can be done? Isn't it better to stay part of the loaf? Sure, there's strength in being part of the loaf, but it's great to be an individual, independent slice of bread too. For example, start with this. You can eat a slice of bread a lot easier than crunching through a whole loaf. Breaking things into smaller sections rather than attacking the entire behemoth at once can be a very effective approach. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew. A slice of bread may seem plain to you as it is, but you can add to it. You can spread a topping on it to make it your very own specialty, something you know you've got going for you, something you can rely on, your comfort zone, your bread and butter, as it were. You can combine one piece of sliced bread with another and make a sandwich. Of course, it's not much of a sandwich with just two pieces of bread, but why stop there? When you mix in ingredients from other food groups, some lettuce, a tomato, which is also better in sliced form, some ham or turkey, if you want, you can open up a whole world of diverse possibilities. Variety is the spice of life, although in this case, mustard works pretty well too. Or take the menu less traveled. Instead, add some milk, add some sugar, and you can get a bread pudding. A few chocolate chips, raisins if you prefer. Depending on what you mix in, you can get entirely different delights. And when you think it's all finished, when there's nothing more that can be done with that amazing, wonderful piece of sliced bread, when it's starting to get a little old and crusty, even then, there's still more. You can sit on a bench, by a pond, and feed it to the ducks. Take a moment to help out. It's good to share with others, fair and foul, making their day a little nicer. By the way, nutritionally, I looked this up, ducks should be eating other things too. So even again with ducks, even ducks should try different things. There's probably something else. There's probably somewhere else we could go with this, but I'm not thinking of it, and that's enough for now anyway. Suffice it to say, sliced bread in all its simple glory can indeed be a pretty great thing, even when it's old and crusty. And speaking of old and crusty, I guess that kind of fits me here now, sharing my slices of bread with you, so I should probably wrap it up. Before I ride off on my moped, though, I just want to share one more thing. This is actually an end-of-year report card comment I wrote back when you were in 8th grade. I think the words still apply. Well, you've made it through, Brunhilde. You've had many highlights, and admittedly some lowlights too, but it's been a wonderful journey, one I hope you'll remember. You've been a good student, and even better, a good person, which is a fantastic combination. I hope that you're proud of all you accomplished. I know that we all are. Please stay in touch. I look forward to seeing what you do next, because whatever it is, I know it's going to be great, because you are the greatest thing. Thank you. Oh. I'm sorry, I forgot. The whole reason, I'm saying, remember that long, that extended, that tortured, that metaphor thing about like the bread and that was all those things? I remember, there's one more. What else could sliced bread be? A toast to the class of 2023. There you go. Dr. Earhart.
As David's talking a little bit about his age and where he's at in his life and career, I think it's appropriate tonight that I come up to announce a retirement. I am going to retire a story with you all tonight that actually starts with this class, the class of 2023. All right. I don't want to be messing this up. Back when you all joined us as 5th graders, then coming into Cary Academy as 6th graders, I was still relatively new at Cary Academy, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about your experience. Oftentimes you'll see Mr. Follett or myself or some of your department heads popping into classes and sort of seeing, or you see visitors sort of walking through. But what I asked Miss Laughlin, who is going to be your commencement speaker, was to arrange for me a chance to shadow one of you through your full day. I really wanted the Cary Academy Middle School experience. So soup to nuts in the morning, follow you all the way through to the end of the day to really get a sense of what it was like to be a Cary Academy student. And I said to Miss Laughlin, I really want to be with a student who I suspect a teacher will come to me later on and they'll say, well, maybe the Cary Academy standards in the admissions office have dropped off a little bit. Maybe we missed the mark here. Or maybe later on, Mr. Snively would come in 8th grade and he'd say, I cannot believe it. I've been here for almost 20 years, and Dr. Earhart, you have lowered the standards of the school because you are admitting students who have no reason to be at Cary Academy. And so I got paired with Will Capps. Now, Miss Laughlin, of course, I told Miss Laughlin that I wanted to do that, and you all know Miss Laughlin, or many of you do. She said, Mike, we don't have students like that at Cary Academy. All of our students are fabulous. Everyone has a story to tell, and everyone will find a place at Cary Academy. And then she pulled me inside and she said, do watch out for that Will Capps guy, though, because if there's going to be a mistake, it might be him. Will, I love you. Where are you, Will? All right. So I go through the day, following Will through his day. It's early in your 6th grade year. So early that you are still in your arts rotations. Do you remember those? Some of you may have PTSD about the arts rotations, right? You're in the early arts rotations, and we get to the end of the day, a long, hot August day, last class of the day. We are in orchestra, where you are all given violas and violins, and Mr. Ying Chow is standing at the front of the class trying to help you all tune your instruments. And I'm in the back of the class. And he's struggling. He's struggling. You all have things that make noise. And they're kind of fun, right? You can tap, and you can pluck, and you can bang. And he needs to tune those instruments. He needs to hear the noise they're making so that he can actually tune them. And here he's got his head of the school in the back of the class on a hot August day. First time I actually think I ever watched his class. And he's like, shh, 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 shh. And he's doing this, and then over here someone's plucking and tinging and this and that. And I'm in the back of the class, and I'm sweating for Mr. Chow. Because he just, quiet down over here. And he's doing this, and he's doing that. And we're 15, 20 minutes in the class, and I'm shadowing Will, so I can't really leave. Normally, I might politely find a nice opportunity to leave if something's not going quite right for someone. Well, he can sort of correct that. But I'm with Will for the full class. And you can see that he's getting more and more anxious in the front. But he finally works his way through, and all the banging and the noise making and the shh, shh, and the quiet and this and that gets through. And he gets ready to get you all started to play. For most of you, the instruments were brand new. You had never used them. And he gets going, and he's up, and he's working, and the sweat's coming down, and he's looking down. And you guys all start to make some noise. And it's, and then all of a sudden, you start to hear a twinkle, twinkle, little. And I could just see Mr. Chow's whole body language. He's just relief, right? And I'll never forget this as long as I'm working in schools. He's looking down, and I'm in the back of the class, and he looks up with the biggest, brightest smile, a Mr. Chow smile, right? You've all seen it, right? He is just beaming at all of you who have made your first music together in his class, right? Out of chaos, out of just a moment when we thought maybe it wasn't going to happen. You weren't going to be able to get it all done. And that smile told me something about Mr. Chow too, right? He knew. He's been at this for a long time. He knew that he could get you all to a spot where you could take noise. I don't know if I'd call your Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star music at that particular point, but it had a little bit of melody to it, right? And he knew the music was coming. There would be an orchestra out of some of you later on. And if it wasn't in Mr. Chow's class, it would be in another class, with another teacher, with another experience. And as I think about that story and all of you, I'm left thinking a little bit about the journey that you all have ahead as well, right? You are here today. You have finished Cary Academy. We've heard from these wonderful speakers about how you have all made beautiful music out of your experience here. Some sour notes along the way, but you've persevered, and we are here. And together, collectively, we've pulled this off. And now you're going to part in your different ways, and you're going to reconnect with a new set of community members, new friends, new professors, new mentors, who will see in you that same young 6th grade student who maybe kind of wanted to bang on the instrument rather than play something, but given time, you were going to create something. You were going to make something out of that. And so as you get ready to go to your next step, remember that time in 6th grade when it was all noise and chaos, and what you have become because you worked together, because you listened to some wise guidance along the way, and because you persevered. And parents, you are about to get into that. I have a 20 4-year-old and a 25-year-old, and you're starting to come on the upside of your influence in your kids' lives, right? Maybe in 7th, 8th grade, it was way down here, and it's starting to come back up here. And that time when these wonderful young people in front of us will listen to your advice again, maybe seek that out, is coming. It's coming real soon. Because you've all learned that at the right time, collaborating with one another, asking the right person for advice, trusting that someone might know something about what you're interested in learning more about is coming. And you've learned those skills here at Cary Academy, and we're tremendously proud of you. So congratulations to the class of 2023. I have now retired my Mr. Chow story. You gave it to me. I give it back to you as you leave. And we're going to listen to see a slideshow. And then after we finish up, parents, we have a tradition that seniors exit first. So once the slideshow is done, the seniors will rise, they will leave, and then we will join them in the foyer. Congratulations to the class of 2023.